everyone. I'll do a quick update on this compost comparison. So as some of you have maybe watched the first part of it, which was back in April, where B&Q kindly donated these composts and a grow bag as well for me to actually try and see if there was any real difference. And so far, nothing massively. There are differences, but nothing massive. Obviously, you can see the growth stages in things. Things have come on a little bit more because obviously the peppers were quite small. And the last thing I did was some lettuce. So, and as I thought, certain things would do better in others, but overall, they're all working. There's nothing massively different. So, the varieties that are on test are the Westland's John Innes number 3. Then I've got the Westland's New Horizon, which is the veg compost. Then I've got Westland multi-purpose compost with John Innes. And then right at the end, I've got B&Q's own it's called GoodHome multi-purpose. And then obviously there was a GoodHome grow bag. It's pretty similar to the Verve stuff, really. So there was potatoes planted. For some reason, that one at the end is a different colour. Not sure why. As far as I know, they were all the same variety of potatoes as I sort of laid them out. But possibly it could be something different. I don't know. But they were first early, so these have got probably they've had about 60 days, I think. So they've got like 20 to 30 days left yet. So probably looking at 3 to 4 weeks, and then there'll be a harvest of them, and we'll just follow these through the year. Strawberries, I was more growing these as pretty much to see how much they've put on in size. They've been putting runners out, and I've been sort of nipping them off because I don't want to run anything yet. It's just kind of get the plant as big as I can, just to kind of prove the growth rate, because nothing's had a feed. I've not put any feeds in anything, when I've watered. They've all had similar water, bar one. It's had to have a little bit more water, which I found the New Horizon is which is this one, this row here, it's quite fibrous. It's a good compost. I like it, but it's quite fibrous. It's got a lot of the clear stuff in it, because there is a reduced amount of peat, or there might be no peat. And I think there was all an element of peat in most of them, I can remember. I haven't got the bags anymore. But it does dry out quite quick. Whereas this John Innes, anything with John Innes in, because it's a kind of feed formula, John Innes, but I've always found anything with John Innes is quite loamy and it can compact quite easy, and it's very heavy. You pick up this pot and it weighs so much because it's like very fine. There is bits of grit in it, and it's sandy, but things are doing okay. The potatoes are doing okay. But like I thought, with the more fibrous open structure things, peppers tend to prefer. As regarding overall sort of sizes on things, I'm leaning more towards number 3 down there, which is the Westland's multi-purpose with John Innes. Overall, that's had the most sort of growth. Doesn't necessarily mean yield, because you can easily sort of look at a potato top and think there's loads of top but very little potatoes, so you won't actually know until you actually crop, because that's the idea, is crop, apart from the strawberries, which was size really. But like I say, number 3 is the only one that's produced some flowers. These ones haven't yet produced any flowers as such. I think there was one, I think it was the GoodHome one. I think I put a bit of bloodfish and bone meal in that right at the start. I can't remember offhand. But as lettuce, the GoodHome is kind of the smallest one regarding the lettuce, but nothing major, So it just depends, because obviously these are a different price range as well, I think these first 3 are a very similar price range. But obviously the GoodHome one is cheaper. But, it's on price. Is it, a detrimental effect? Not really. I think as long as it's growing, it's to what you can afford, then just get what you can afford, and it will work to a degree. It might need a bit of supplementary feed along the way, or you might not get quite as big a yield, but maybe because it's cheaper compost, you can do more pots. So there's that option. if you have the space. But if you had reduced space, you'd be on grow bags, which we'll have a look at behind me. So these are two different varieties of potatoes. I'm not sure if they were Duke of York and Charlottes, I can't remember now. I'm not sure if they were Jazzies then, I can't remember. Quite small tops on these. So you'd never know what the yield's going to be. I'm not expecting loads. It used to be a thing I did years ago, and don't see it much these days with grow bags. I used to use an old yellow one, which was, I think it was Levington, I think it used to be. And that used to do okay. You just split it in half and put it over a fence and put a spud in each side. But obviously these have got 2 potatoes in each. And they've required quite a bit of water, because they are quite chunky. And like I said, peppers like chunky, good open compost. That I've personally found anyway, but they'll grow in most things, to be honest. You'll get something. So it's just trial and error, really. Use different compost and obviously different elements and weather. And this year's been a terrible year weather-wise. We had a really cold start for a long time. Obviously that has a knock-on effect. But does it make it a fair test? Yeah, in a way, because they've all been planted in the same situation. They've all grown in the same environment. So whether, if the whole lot will have had a knockback, but obviously it's warmed up now, things will catch up. Like I said, the lettuce, the smallest lettuce has been the GoodHome one. The better ones have been anything with John Innes in, to be honest. But I think, lettuce, it's mesure, and you can use this as a cut and come again. I mean, I've had these planted in the ground, the same variety, and I've been cropping them like crazy. So it's 4-inch pot. So lettuce doesn't produce loads in a 4-inch pot at the end of the day. Better off in a tray. Obviously there's watering commitments. You need to keep them constantly moist. There's no point to keep drying out. And obviously with the sun, we've got a lot of heat. Lettuce doesn't like heat, so they do tend to go soft and floppy. Things stress out a bit. But overall, the sort of comparison, as at the moment, nothing majorly different. But like I said, the biggest thing I can see here is, this New Horizon. It's a nice open structure. It does dry out quite quick. Peppers seem to like that. And also the pepper in the GoodHome one is slightly bigger, because that's quite chunky as well. Not really chunky, but it's quite chunky, so it can get those roots and plenty of air there and good drainage and that, where anything with sort of a John Innes sort of mix in, it's good, but I think it's not Pepper's favourite thing, obviously because it's more compacted. But like I say, yield-wise, there's loads of little buds on here. I've picked some off to try and create a bit more shoots, but like I say, the peppers need heat, really, and these have just been in and out of the polytunnel. I've been quite slow, so all my peppers have been quite slow. But to say, the 2 more coarse compost are proving better. And the strawberry, for some reason, in the Westland multipurpose for John Innes has kind of gone quite big. But, this one isn't too bad either. It's got John Innes. But they're all fairly, consistent. They're all going to produce. So there's no fret if you've already got all your compost this year and grown it in a certain type. You'll get something. So I'll say it depends what you can afford. If you can make your own, fine. If you can only afford a £2 bag, that's all you can afford. Just work with it. And if you can afford a really expensive one that's like £8 or something, then use that one. But at the end of the day, whatever you can afford, you will get something. For buying a cheap bag of compost, a few seeds, you'll get something. But like I say, we'll look at these throughout the season, and obviously until the season comes to an end, I'll keep revisiting this. Obviously, next time will probably be when I come to harvest, which will be probably potatoes. And if there is any strawberries a bit later in the season, fine. These lettuce I'll just chop off probably today and give them to my pet tortoise. It just saves me looking after them. Because they're only little pots, and they're they're not going to they'll get bigger, but it's just going to end up needing more water all the time. And like I said, it was just a test really on that initial. They were very slow, especially the GoodHome one was really slow to actually fire off and start any growth. But the first one was the number 3 over there, the multi-purpose Rejoice in the Westland. You know, that sort of tapped its roots in quick and grew quick. So that's it for this update. I thought I'd just give you a bit of an update on how things are going, and obviously this will be ongoing until the season ends, and then that will give its final verdict. But as at the moment, everything seems, you know, nothing majorly, nothing's completely failed. Like I say, when it comes to the potatoes, they'll all be weighed when I do them, and obviously it's kind of peppers. We'll just see how they generally produce through the season, as with the strawberries. And obviously, you know, these potatoes, for whatever I get out of them, you know, whether it's tiny spuds or whatever, the idea is you can get a cheap grow bag, lop it in half and stick a couple of potatoes in it, and, you know, you can get something from it. That's the plan anyway. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. See you now, bye-bye.